Hey guys, Kid here, giving you a new deck tech with an updated list for Nisekoi post ban. After the ban, there was like Nisekoi got hit pretty hard with the ban list. In my opinion, the Raku and Pendant being on the same list is kind of weird since it makes one without the other makes like if you pick Raku, it makes Raku basically irrelevant because there's no pendants. It's just global 500, and then if you pick pendants like I don't know. Just I don't know if they're thinking of the list. It's like all right, I guess, but yeah, I think it's just a weird way to go. Before I get into deck lists, a couple shout outs because apparently I missed it last time. Shout outs to Triple Crown. Those guys are awesome. They sponsor me to play Weiss. Shout out to I guess my store SNK Cards. Sell a lot of cards there. Look us up on Facebook. And I guess shout outs to everyone on the Triple Crown team because fuck it, man, they're all awesome. Alright, so the deck is pretty similar to the last one if you watched my last video for Nisekoi. So we'll run by everything really quick and just talk a little bit about the changes and why I made them. Still run 4 Runner Suiciders, the best level 0 game option. Like I said in the last video, hopefully I said in the last video, was this deck, you basically sacrifice your level 0 game because it's all about the in-game. Like your level 2 and 3 game is all that matters. You don't even really care about your level 1 game that much. This card gives you just really good advantage and you can run into other things and kill it. Hopefully your opponent doesn't play like a 4K level 1 because this deck has trouble killing it. But if they do, who cares? You're just trying to get them up to like level get them up to kill range so your Marika level 3 can kill them and so forth. But yep, that card advantage stuff. We have this in here now. It's a one of Marika. If it's alone on the field against 2K. So it's a 4K beater. It's one of the very, very few ways we can kill things. And it's kind of like a oops, I drew into it and it worked out card. It's not that important. Second ability is a pay one, draw one, discard one. Sometimes relevant, sometimes not. This card is pretty whatever. Honestly, you could probably end up switching this for the recent Marika PR that came out. I have it. I haven't put it in the deck yet, but I'm probably going to try it out sooner or later. Then again, I haven't played this deck that much since the banning. But I probably should try that out. But yeah, so far this is a one of has been great. Still run 2 Brainstormers on attack, give another character 1k, and then pay 1 tap to search for every Climax you hit. Good Brainstormer, what can I say? We still run 2 of these spammable Brainstorms. I'm not liking it as much anymore since we don't need as much deck control for the most part. Still a very good card. Secondary ability where whenever one of your characters gets reversed, you can buff it 1k. Works well with this because you usually run this Brainstormer in, and so you end up giving something 2k if you want. Works well late game and stuff. This don't know yet if I want to keep it or not, but it's still a solid card. I'm never disappointed to have it in my hand or on the field, so I'm not exactly sure if I should even cut this down to 1 or not. But right now I like it at 2. Once again, if you saw my last video about this, we run 2 of this Ditch a Climax Marika and then salvage a character. We want to get value out of the whenever we trigger a blue gate, especially since it's one of the ways that circumvents anti-salvage during attack step, so that's great. Second ability is come into play, look at the top card of your deck, leave it there or put it in the waiting room. Works well with the pay 1, draw 1, discard 1 Marika. Helps you set up for other things that you want to look for, and like can mill very important cards that you want to salvage. Great card, maybe bump up to 3, but like I think 2 is super solid, especially the way the deck likes to cycle hand a lot, and you just have so much hand control in this deck is the whole reason I even like playing Nisekoi in the first place. But yep, good card. Once again, 2 pay 1, discard 1, search 1. Good way to get certain key cards early in the game or like get zeros. We still don't run that many zeros in this deck because we don't really care about level 0 that much. We just always want to have some kind of attacker, some way to build stock and just move on to the level 1 game and transition very easily because we have so little space to fit more zeros in this deck, and especially since we gave up so much space already at 0 for tech cards for the most part. Good card. Next, we run 3 of the Marika PR Chibi. Because Raku got hit, and obviously our choice is Pendant because we were going to run the level 3 Pendant game, or level 3 Marika game. We need the Pendants. I chose this one out of the other Pendant Bonders because I love the ability to deck manipulate by looking at the top card of your deck and leaving it there or not, and doing other like things like that, like being able to play this, look at the top card. If I want it, leave it there. Play a 1/0 Suicider and grab it from the top of my deck. Things like that. Checking triggers. I love checking triggers towards the end of the game. It's a great way to guarantee certain setups, and I just love it. Deck manipulation is like one of my favorite things. Like if this set had like anything like Guilty Crown, where you can just scry all the time. If you're not familiar with scry, it's like look at the top card or look at top X cards, and then put them back in any order, or put any number to the bottom of your deck in any order. I love that ability. It's super awesome in Weiss, since you're always going through your deck. That's why I love this. I like this one over the other ones, because the other ones that I think power is really irrelevant for the most part. Level 1 game again. Once again, 3 Carnage Marikas. This card, still a whatever card. People like play counters and screw you up and stuff like that. It's not that important. Sometimes you get the dream off of playing all 3 and playing a Climax, and like actually plussing 3 cards off of it. For the most part, you don't really care. It kind of happens every once in a while, and there's still a lot of anti-salvage. So ever since like the banning, there's been more anti-salvage stuff coming around. Like Little Busters is really popular, at least in my meta, and also Contact Collection is just popular all over the world. So yep, card is like kind of dead sometimes, but it's still good enough that you want to run 3 of and run the Climax combo, because you really want to run gates in this. And if you play against a set that doesn't have any anti-salvage, you're just like the happiest person in the world. That, and it's like only 5k, and it's kind of tough to run things, and we don't really care to run yellow, so we don't run the PR support from the Blu-ray. Next are basically our level 1 beater game. It's 1/0 4k. If you saw last video, same crap. Has clock on core, becomes 6k base if you have a full field. Great way to plus hand. Manipulate your clock to make sure you get hit level 2 whenever you want to hit level 2 or level 3 or whatever you want to do. Usually you're really happy to play 1 or 2 of these on the field, because you just plus over time and slowly keep your hand up to be able to play Marika and do silly things like that, and silly shenanigans. Next, 2 of Suicider. This Suicider is awesome. Maybe it should be bumped up to 3. I kind of like it at 2 right now, just because of all the manipulation the deck has. You can cycle like these in and out. You just gotta be really careful in certain matchups where if these end up in stock, you should probably pay them out. Sometimes it's very important, otherwise the game can just go really, really bad. Gonna play top check, works with the PR Marika, and when it top checks or reveal a top card. If it's key character add to hand, works well with all the top check we have in this deck and deck manipulation. It's great. Love it. Thins your deck slowly. And level 1 Suicider as long as you have a pendant in memory. So good card. Next, for our support game, we started running this 1/0 Chitoge support. It has Global 500 like Raku, but the secondary ability is if you have, I believe, 2 pendants. Yeah, 2 pendants in memory, 2 or more. Gains a secondary ability which gives 500 power to front. This is great because you usually set up at level 1 with like one of the pendants in memory already to like fix your hand, and then when you counter, your counter is like basically a 3,500 counter now, because when you counter you have 2 pendants in memory, and then this gets the bonus 500 to the front. It keeps our 1/0 6k consistently 1/065 or 1/0 7k clock on core, as even though we run the Suiciders and we have open slots. Yeah, just overall power curve is like better with this card. Don't really hate it, don't really love it, just a good card overall. I'm not even sure if power is too relevant in this deck anymore for the most part, especially if you plan to take out 1/0 Marika. But since we do play 1/0 Marika, it's still pretty good to have some kind of power support. 1 of anti higher level counter. It's pretty whatever. Everyone should basically run at this point. Next, 2 1/1 red pendants. Hand fix, love it. Run at 2 because it's harder to fix your hand now without Raku. And then 2 1/1 3k counters, more pendants, hooray. 3k counter at level 1's pretty good. One of this backup, if you watched the last video, I explained all the things, like why this is super good. You can even bump this up to 2. Being able to kill your own field during your opponent's turn is really good right now because of all the effects that have recently came out. 1 of the level support, and it has clock yourself in when it comes into play to salvage a character. One of the ways to keep hand size up and get cards you need, or like bump yourself up into level 3 if you need to play Marika in the game. two Chitoge healers. It heals and has an ability that helps you in the game by top decking, so good choice. Even though anti-heal is pretty rapid everywhere at this point, it's still good to have a couple healers in your deck just to make sure you're never in a situation where you're at 3-6 and you need to heal, otherwise you're dead. Finally, there's these 4 Onidera. This card is what keeps the deck together still. I think if this card wasn't in the deck, I think this deck would suck a lot. Basically, your level 2 game plan now is to get this out, then search for another one, get it out, search for another one, get it out. Usually at that point you have this huge wall your opponent has to deal with, and even if your opponent has an anti-change counter, it's not too bad. Sometimes it is. Against decks that do have anti-change, or not anti-change, but anti-higher level cards, sometimes you only want to have one out just to avoid like them getting any really good advantage off of you. But besides that, against decks that you don't have to worry about that, you basically want to get this 3 out as soon as you hit level 2. Have this wall that's really annoying for your opponent to deal with, and just generate advantage through that, and like slowly push them pretty hard to level 3, especially since you have all these level 2 beaters, or not level 2, 2 soul beaters out, basically a turn early, or not a turn, level early. One of Marika level 3 because the Banlist only lets us play one. Kind of sucks, but you know, this card's really busted. Yeah, like no reason not to run it. Then the 4 gates for the Climax combo at level 1, and then we run 4 of the blue gates. Same reasoning as before. We want to be able to get some kind of advantage when we trigger Climaxes, and this is one of the few that we can, because we can pick up gates or the blue gates. It doesn't matter which, either Climax. Be able to play the Climax combo again if we can, or otherwise use this to ditch for abilities that help us filter hand. That's the updated deck list as of the banning. Try it out. Hopefully you guys have a lot of success with it like I have. Deck's a lot of fun. I hope. It really sucks the ban list, the way they did the ban list. I don't really agree with how it was done. It honestly should have been free refresh. The free refresh Onidera, the level 3, and what was the other one? Oh man, I'm like drawing a blank really hard. Free refresh Onidera, level 3 Onidera, and man, I can't remember what like. Oh man, I'm pretty sure we talked about this before. Man, it was probably one of my other videos I said it, but it was like between those 2 cards and maybe it was Marika level 3 was the way to go. Because without those other 2 cards, it's really hard for Marika level 3 to do what she does. I think that was the list I came up with my friends. But yeah, anyway. This card still like keeps the deck alive. I think if this card was removed from the deck, you'd be really, really sad. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully I come out with more stuff. I'm heading to Japan in a couple days. Hopefully I get some cool video footage of that, or like be able to talk about it more. And if not, check out my blog at katori.wordpress.com, I believe. So the Burn One blog, I have strategy articles and stuff like that up there. Thanks for watching, guys.